The Dallas Cowboys are stepping into this season with something special. This isn't just another year, it feels like the start of a major turnaround. Last season showed flashes, but this time around, I believe we're about to witness one of the most improved teams in the entire NFL. Why? Because the Cowboys finally have the offensive firepower to match their defense. Let's talk about the new addition, George Pickens. Pairing him with CeeDee Lamb instantly changes the entire landscape of this offense. Defenses can no longer just key in on Lamb, because now you've got two receivers who can absolutely dominate one-on-one coverage. That means coordinators are going to be forced into playing more two-high safety looks, opening up the middle of the field and creating running lanes that will punish defenses over and over again. And here's the beauty of it. In single-high coverage, Dak Prescott gets simple yes or no reads. If the safety bites down, Pickens becomes a guaranteed target. If they play back, Lamb gets the look. Either way, it's a nightmare for opposing secondaries. This is the type of balance Cowboys fans have been waiting for, an offense that can stretch the field vertically, attack underneath, and pound the ball on the ground when defenses back off. With Pickens and Lamb together, Dallas finally has the kind of versatility that can tilt the field every single snap. George Pickens is the kind of receiver you simply can't leave on an island. If defenses try it, they'll pay the price. He proved it in big games, making contested catches look routine. That's why teams are going to be forced to shade a safety over the top. But here's the real problem for opponents. If Pickens draws that attention, it leaves CeeDee Lamb one-on-one. And when Lamb gets that matchup, you throw it every single time. That balance alone is going to completely reshape the Cowboys' offense. Let's look at the numbers from last season. Dallas ranked 21st in points per game, and while that isn't awful, it's nowhere near good enough for a team with championship aspirations. On third downs, they sat at 23rd in the league, and they were 31st in red zone scoring percentage, flat out unacceptable for an offense with so much talent. Even worse, they finished 27th in touchdowns per game. The root issue? Predictability. Defenses stacked the box, rolled a safety over Lamb, and dared the Cowboys to beat them with receivers like Jalen Tolbert or Cavante Turpin in one-on-one coverage. Too often, it didn't work. Now, with both Pickens and Lamb, everything changes. Defenses can't just sell out against the run or lock down one receiver. If they commit to stopping the pass, fewer defenders will be in the box, creating space for the run game to finally thrive. And when the run game starts clicking, it only makes the passing attack even more dangerous. The Cowboys actually did a solid job protecting Dak Prescott last year. The problem wasn't blocking, it was predictability. With these new weapons, that weakness is gone. This offense is about to become far more versatile, explosive, and unpredictable. The Cowboys' offense struggled last year because defenses could predict everything. That's why adding a true playmaker like George Pickens is such a game changer. Let me show you why. Picture this playoff scenario. The defense drops a deep safety, but Dallas runs a crossing route underneath to pull him away. That opens up the sideline, creating a perfect one-on-one situation. And when Dak Prescott launches it, Pickens not only makes the grab, he shakes defenders in the open field and takes it all the way, turning a tough play into an easy 36-yard touchdown. That's the kind of impact he brings, instant explosiveness, the ability to flip the game in a single snap. Pickens isn't just about highlight catches. His presence changes how defenses line up, which creates more opportunities in both the passing and running game. He forces opponents to respect every blade of grass, making Dallas more unpredictable than ever before. Now, the Cowboys' backfield could also turn into a hidden weapon. Javonte Williams looks like the early workhorse, but keep your eyes on rookie Jaden Blue. He has rare one-cut ability and a burst that jumps off the screen. Once he gets going, it's the kind of acceleration that can shred defenses before they even react. This combination, Pickens stretching the field and a dynamic run game developing behind him, might finally give Dallas the offensive balance they've been missing for years. One of the most underrated skills for a young running back is pass protection. And that's exactly why Jaden Blue is going to see the field early. He can protect the quarterback, and that's something coaches trust immediately. Now watch how he runs. On an inside zone, he'll sell the outside, force defenders to overcommit, then plant his foot and explode upfield. That one-cut ability is deadly. Add in his burst, and suddenly defenders are diving at air while he lowers his shoulder, bounces off contact, and pushes for extra yards. Blue isn't just a runner, he's versatile. He can catch passes out of the backfield, protect Dak Prescott in the pocket, and attack between the tackles or outside the edge. He brings a complete skill set that Dallas desperately needs. This is the kind of versatility that transforms an offense. With Blue in the mix alongside Javonte Williams, plus the firepower of George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys finally have balance. They can protect the passer, pound the ball, and strike deep. And that's why this team feels more dangerous than it has in years. Another area the Cowboys must focus on is the offensive line and, of course, Dak Prescott. For all the criticism Dak takes, one thing that often gets overlooked is how much his play depends on protection. When the offensive line is holding strong, Prescott is one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league. He can stand tall, read defenses, and deliver strikes. But when that pocket collapses, the entire offense sputters. That's why this season's success doesn't just come down to Dak or even his receivers, it comes down to the guys up front. If the Cowboys can stay healthy and consistent on the offensive line, it will unlock everything. The run game will open up. Dak will get time to hit CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens downfield. And defenses won't be able to tee off with pressure every snap. This offensive line has the talent. The question is whether they can maintain it for a full season. If they do, Dallas won't just have a dangerous offense, they'll have one of the most balanced attacks in the NFL. This season feels like the most important year of Dak Prescott's career. And the reason is simple, he finally has the weapons around him, but he also has the pressure. With George Pickens joining CeeDee Lamb, Dallas now has two legitimate go-to receivers. Add in depth pieces like Jalen Tolbert and the explosive Kevontae Turpin, and Dak has no excuses. The Cowboys invested in giving him options, and now it's on him to deliver. But there's another layer to this story, the future. Dallas brought in Joe Milton, a young quarterback with one of the strongest arms in college football. He's raw, he's a project, but he represents the idea of what could come next if Dak doesn't rise to the moment. Milton is not just another Cooper Rush, he's a legitimate long-term option. And that kind of pressure can either break a quarterback or push him to his best season yet. Of course, everything comes back to the offensive line. Last year, they were solid in pass protection but struggled to create running lanes. If this group can take the next step in run blocking, while still keeping Dak upright, it changes everything. A balanced defense with Pickens, Lamb, and a revitalized run game? That's the recipe for a playoff push. No one's really talking about it yet, but this Cowboys team has the potential to surprise a lot of people. The defense is already loaded, and if the offense finally clicks, Dallas could make noise deep into January. The Cowboys also invested in the trenches, drafting Tyler Booker in the first round. And make no mistake, he's going to be asked to contribute right away. In preseason, Booker showed real promise in pass protection, even in limited snaps. One play in particular stood out. The defense ran a stunt, a tricky move where defenders crash inside and then loop around to confuse the offensive line. For a rookie, this is one of the toughest challenges. It requires instant communication with the center and guard, quick recognition, and flawless timing. But Booker handled it perfectly. As the rushers twisted, he stayed balanced, locked onto his assignment, and shut down one of the top pass rushers from this draft class, Mike Green. That's not something you see often from a rookie lineman. This is why Booker could be such a vital piece for Dallas. If he can continue to protect Dak Prescott while growing into a reliable starter, the offensive line could transform from a question mark into a strength. And for a team with playoff ambitions, that could be the difference between just making noise and actually making a run. At the end of the day, the offensive line remains the biggest question mark for Dallas. We know they can protect Dak Prescott, but can they consistently open up lanes in the run game? That will be vital to unlocking the full potential of this offense. The good news is the Cowboys now have more weapons, which means defenses won't be able to stack the box like they did last year. That alone should create more balance, more variety, and far more unpredictability. Last season, Dallas ranked 21st in points per game. With the addition of George Pickens, the growth of CeeDee Lamb, and the versatility of the backfield, I can see this offense climbing into the top 12. The key difference? Defenses can no longer read what's coming. Whether it's Pickens or Lamb outside, or the running backs catching and running between the tackles, Dallas finally has the ability to keep opponents guessing. And when you pair that with a defense that's already one of the best in football, the Cowboys have a real chance to surprise a lot of people this season. This year isn't just about potential, it's about execution. If the offensive line improves and Dak Prescott rises to the moment, Dallas could finally take that next step and make a serious playoff run.